Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon!
May energy pa ba ang lahat? Yes! Sige nga, kung may energy, sabihin niyo, ang ganda mo po, ma'am. Sige. Sa habang ito, we're gonna talk about the types of formative assessment. So, ano nga ba ang types of formative assessment? It is shown here. Did you read the readings? Did you read the readings or not? Sige nga, kung binasa nyo, I have a question here. Why do you think teachers use different types of formative assessment instead of relying on just quizzes or tests? Miss Alea?
I think po, I believe po na teachers use different types of formative assessment because, yun nga, kung may nag-gather ba sila, gumagamit sila ng different types of assessment kasi may nag-gather, ibig sabihin, may nag-gather sila misconception, mali, or something to improve the learning na na-acquire ng mga students o kung meron ba daw something na magawan nila ng paraan instead of just relying on quiz or test kasi objective masyado po yun.
So, tama po yung sinabi ni Miss Alea kasi nga, what is formative assessment nga ulit? It is done during instruction. So, dito, ginagamit ng mga teachers ang different types of formative assessment such as yung on-fly, plan, classroom assessment, yung large scales. Dahil once nakakita sila ng misconception or ng mali sa natutunan or pagkakaintindi ng mga estudyante na fix nila ito during the discussion or during that time para yung mga estudyante is hindi sila magkaroon ng maling kaalaman sa kanilang pinagtutunan. Okay? So, meron akong binigay na case study sa inyo. So, dito, I have a question. Based on the classroom scenario, what specific type of formative assessment did Ma'am Lisa apply and how do her strategies in grouping, guiding, and adjusting tasks show evidence on this assessment type? Sige nga, Miss Robilin, can you answer the question and then state the evidence on the case study? So first question, anong type of formative assessment ang pinapakita sa case study?
Dito sa case study, gamit na formative assessment, types of formative assessment is diagnostic groupings and guided.
Po?
Diagnostic groupings and guided practice.
Do you think, Miss Frequencia, the answer is correct? Kasama ba yan sa ating tinuro na types of formative assessment ang sinagot ni Miss Rubilin or hindi? Ano nga ulit yung types ng formative assessment?
Embedded formative assessment, summative based.
On embedded formative assessment, ano yung types niya? So, summative, ano nga types?
Classroom assessment, moment assessment, large scale assessment.
So, Miss Rubilin, ano nga sa tingin mo kaya ang type ng formative assessment na ginamit dito sa case study given yung mga types talaga ng formative assessment sa ating pinag-aralan? Is it on-fly, plan, common, classroom, or large scale? Okay, dahil hindi makasagot po si Miss Rubilin, Mr. Moico, RJ, ano kaya sa tingin mo ang tamang sagot?
I think it is embedded formative assessment.
Embedded formative assessment? What type of embedded formative assessment kaya ito? Ano nga ulit ang type ng embedded formative assessment? Yes, tama yung sinabi ni Moiko? Ano nga?
On the fly and plan.
Pag sinabing on the fly, ano nga?
Spontaneous and train rapid students usually by using questions.
O diba? Ang on-fly is during the instruction. Para, inaano ng teacher, kinokorrect niya yung mga misunderstanding ng mga students during the discussion. Planned, ano nga ulit ang planned? Okay, tama yon. So, Mr. Moiko, ano kaya sa tingin mo ang tamang sagot? Planned or on-fly? What specific type of embedded formative assessment? Planned or?
I think it is a planned because
What is your basis na nasabi mo na planned yan?
Ma'am Liza had already prepared activities for her students.
Okay, so sino pong makaka-help kay Mr. Moiko? Okay, Miss Rachel? Opo.
The type of formative assessment of Ma'am Liza applied is the embedded formative assessment, both planned and offline. Ang evidence dito is yung grouping. Ma'am Liza had already divided her pupils into two groupings. The groups were flexible. Today's groups were based on Ma'am Liza's observations of pupils' performance from the previous days. This shows that she planned her grouping strategy ahead of time based on prior assessment evidence. And then on the fly naman, when pupils were incorrect, Ma'am Liza used guiding questions to help them identify and explain their error. This illustrates how she provided immediate, spontaneous guidance as students work, creating teachable.
So, tama po yung sinabi ni Miss Rachel. This case study used planned and on-fly embedded formative assessment. Bakit nga natin nasabi na plan? Dahil sinabi dito na, di ba, before pa nangyari yung discussion ni ma'am, ginroup niya yung kanyang mga students, and then based sa performance ng kanyang mga students on the previous day na kanilang pinag-aralan. And then after that, paano siya naging on-fly? Dahil during the discussion, dito, yung hindi na, parang nagkaroon ng misconceptions ang students ni Ma'am Lisa sa kanilang discussion, gumamit siya ng mga guiding questions to help the students to better understand or mas maintindihan yung kanilang lesson at matama yung kanilang kamalian. So, tama ko yun. So, dito, paano nga ba, how do ma'am, di ba? It is a formative, embedded, on-fly, and planned assessment. So, paano nga ba ginamit ni Ma'am Lisa ang strategies sa pag-group, sa pag-guide, and sa pag-adjust ng task to show that it is planned or on-fly? Anyone? Okay, Miss Richelyn? So, diba, this case study used planned and on-fly embedded formative assessment. So, paano mo masasabi or what is your basis based on the evidences shown in the case study na formative assessment ito na planned or on-fly and planned and on-fly formative assessment ito based sa strategy sa pag-group ni ma'am sa kanyang pag-guide and pag-adjust niya ng task. Anyone can help? Miss Aliyah?
So, on our evidence, where Ma'am Liza had already divided her pupils into two groupings, the groups were flexible. today's groups were based on Ma'am Liza's observations of pupil performance from the previous day. So, Tito, this shows that she carefully planned her groupings based on what she saw from the previous lesson. So, by doing so, she could make sure that struggling pupils received more help while advanced learners were given activities to challenge them further. So, giplan niya yung mga groups based sa kung ano yung nakita niya ng mga performances ng mga students.
So, tama po yung sinabi ni Miss Aliyah na dito si Ma'am, ginamitan niya ng plan wherein yung, di ba, nagkaroon siya ng plan na before pa nag-start ang discussion niya, dinivide niya na yung kanyang mga pupils. And dahil doon, nag-base siya sa groupings na kanyang dinivide based sa performance on the previous day. So, dito pinapakita na ginamit ni Ma'am Lisa sa kanyang discussion or sa kanyang lesson yung planned embedded formative assessment. Sa apply naman, nagpapakita dito na in this part, where yung mga students ni Ma'am Lisa is hindi na siya nakasagot or hindi nila maintindihan yung the discussion, gumamit siya ng mga guide questions for the students to better understand at makasagot sila ng tama. So, do you have any questions sa ating case study? May mga misunderstandings ba kayo or mga tanong ba kayo? Bakit ganito? Bakit ganyan?
Wala po.
Sure?
Yes po.
Okay. At dahil dyan, let's proceed to the activity. So, di ba, I group you into 3. So, with your group, sit together and then, read each scenario carefully and identify which type of formative assessment it represents by choosing it from the following. It may be on-fly assessment, plant assessment, classroom assessment, common assessment, and large-scale assessment. So this is the first scenario. I'll give you 2 minutes to better understand the scenario at para mas makasagot kayo ng tama. Ako ganun. So time is up. Does anyone wants to answer? Glazery? Pinaprocess ko po ni Glazery ang kanyang answer. Karen? Okay, Gwen, what's your answer?
Belong siya sa large scale assessment. Kasi yung large scale assessment is big standardized, which is test like near and exam.
So, Miss Gwen, dahil sinabi mo na large scale assessment ito, what details in the scenario show that this assessment was conducted at large scale or national level, not just in Miss Ramos' class? Paano mo masabi na it uses a large scale assessment?
Kasi sila ng NAT. Nag-take sila ng NAT.
And then when we take NAT, ano nga ang nangyayari?
Home division kasi yung ng NAT, diba?
So, tama po yung sinabi ni Miss Gwen. Kasi diba, when we take NAT, it is a national achievement test. From the word national, lahat, whole Philippines is taking that test. So, it is considered as a large-scale assessment. Next scenario, please read and do better. anyone wants to answer? Pina-process niyo pa ba ang mga sagot niyo? Okay, try. Okay, Miss Idelaika wants to answer.
Iba yung sa akin is classroom summative-based formative assessment. Kasi yung word na the next day, yun dyan ako nag-base.
It is a summative po because linan niya po the next day na po yung kanyang instructional adjustment. So tama po yung pala yung sinabi ni Miss Idelaika pala. So maintindihan niyo na ba kung ano yung differentiation of embedded formative assessment at summative assessment? Yes. Ano nga ulit? Saan nga ulit ginagamit ang formative assessment? When was instructional adjustment done? During the lesson. Summative naman? After or the next day. So very good, Miss Idelaika. The last scenario. Please do read. So ready na ba? Do you have an answer na? Na-process niyo na ba ang answer niyo? Okay, let's try. Miss Jalika, what do you think is the answer? What type of formative assessment is shown in this scenario?
So let's start. So answer is embedded on the fly. On the fly.
On the fly? Bakit kaya? Bakit nasabi po?
Kasi spontaneous yung interactions ng teachers and the students.
So, spontaneous. So, saang part dito ang nagpapakita na si Mr. Cruz, he immediately corrected the misconception on the spot. Saan kaya ang part niya?
First is nag-ask the teachers na why did the Americans refuse to recognize the first Philippine Republic. So yung student is nag-answer sila ng different and na-realize the teacher na medyo mediocre or shallow yung response ng students kaya hindi correct.
So, tama po yun. Do you think Miss Julika's answer is correct? Miss Bernadette?
Yes po, tama po yung sagot ni Miss Calagan po na on the
Bakit kaya?
on the fly embedded formative assessment po yan. Kasi yung base dito po sa reading material, yung on the fly embedded formative assessment po, occurs.
So, without reading the material, saan part siya nagpapakita na on-the-fly assessment yung ginamit ni Mr. Cruz?
When Mr. Cruz paused the discussion and then he projected niya yung Treaty of Paris and then sinabi niya dito kung ano yung nangyari and then nagkaroon ng spontaneous adjustment para ma-clarify ng students kung ano nga ba yung nangyari doon.
So, tama. Very good. Palakpakan. So, before I proceed to my final question, I have a question to all of you. Have you read the final part of my reading material?
Which one? Important.
Anong ang sinasabi ng final part of my reading material? Sige nga. If you during the final part of my reading material, you can answer this question. So who wants to answer? Mr. Renzo? Please answer the question. Why do you think embedded formative assessment has a greater impact on student learning compared to large-scale assessment? Bakit nga ba? So, pinaprocess pa po ni Mr. Renzo ang kanyang sagot. Miss Alea, do you want to help Mr. Renzo?
So why do you think embedded formative assessment has a greater impact on student learning compared to large scale assessment? Ang pinagkaiba lang po niyan is may impact naman ang dalawa. Pero ang pinagkaiba lang nito is yung large scale assessment is meron siyang least na impact. Kasi po sa formative assessment, it matters most kasi you have control in your own classroom. At saka, the closer the formative assessment process to instruction and the learning, the more effective it is.
So, tama po yung sinasabi ni Miss Alea. Kasi diba, when we use embedded formative assessment, you adjust your instruction during mismo sa time na nakakita ka ng misconception sa learning ng iyong mga students. However, large-scale assessment is, for example, the NAT. So, after pa the result, after mo makuha yung result ng NAT, doon mo pa makikita na, merong hindi masyado naintindihan ng mga students ang ganitong subject kasi mababa ang kanilang score sa ganitong part. For example, sa math, mababa ang kanilang. So, doon, pinapakita na if we use embedded formative assessment, it has a greater impact on student learning because it adjusts the instruction or the instructional, it adjusts the instructional materials or the instructional pagtuturo during mismo sa klase to solve the misconceptions of the students compared dito sa large-scale assessment na after pa ng klase or the test. Naintindihan ba kayo sa aming discussion this afternoon? Sige nga, kung may naintindihan kayo, let's play a game. So we will flash a series of statements in the screen and you will identify if it is real or fake. Mag-clap if false, umupo. Sige, let's start. Number 1, formative assessment is only given at the end of the school year. What's your answer? Real or fake? Very good. Second, feedback is an important part of formative assessment. Real or fake? Feedback is an important part of formative assessment. Number 3, the main purpose of formative assessment is to improve learning while it is happening. Formative assessment does not require student participation. Right? A short quiz, exam ticket, or KW chart can be used as a formative assessment tool. Formative assessment is the same as summative assessment. Very good. Teacher use formative assessment to adjust instruction based on students' needs. Formative assessment is a one-time event. Very good. Formative assessment can include observation, discussion, and peer